We do a lot of the household waste we sort in the Netherlands and we recycle in Europe. And we have a lot of sorting plants in place, big sorting plants of 100,000, 200,000 tons a year. And we see a big development in sorting. So we see optical possibilities with AI and that kind of things, and it's making quickly steps forward. So we can now recognize some kind of material and forms better, so that you can also see, is for instance the milk cans from HDPE apart from the shampoo bottles and that kind of thing. So I think that is the development that is coming to, so that you can maybe meet also for this kind of materials in the future also food grade possibilities. So I think we see a lot of progress. It's not there yet, but we see big things, and we are testing a lot of possibilities with us in the Netherlands. And what we also do is sorting of residual waste, and also getting there the packaging out of it, and also the recovery rates of that are increasing, and we see new plants in development with big possibilities. There are not so much possibilities for that kind of material for food grade recycling, but there are possibilities to recycle it on a big scale, so that we also have the waste of our cities sorted and recycled. So that are big stream beside the C&I streams that we have. So it's I think there's a great future ahead of us with all the materials and all the possibilities in technical
solutions. Okay.
Development.
Of currently what we do in Ireland, sorry for the delay in sound. So I agree with everything that Marcel has said, obviously, about the future, but just to talk about for a second what we're currently doing in trying to drive higher quality and purity of product. So we have 8 sorting facilities on the island, and all of the mixed or commingled recyclables, either from household or commercial, all go through one of those 8 sorting facilities. We do a week-long scientific study every year in each one of those facilities, using independent scientists who go through the bales that are leaving those facilities and being exported. And we adjudicate and come up with the percentage purity in each one, so LDP, HDP, etc. And then we use that percentage to govern what subsidy is paid. So the higher the percentage purity, if you get 95% purity, etc., you get 95% of the subsidy available in that product code. The lower the percentage, the lower the purity, the lower the subsidy. We do some unannounced audits as well as part of our process. We only do them where we really feel there's value, because we're not the regulator. You know, there are people who regulate and legislate for that outside of REPAC, but they're just a general feel. We use a waste assessment method under the Eurostat guidelines, not a placed on the market method, and I know that's not consistent across the EU at the moment. But we do feel that it gives us a massive amount of information of what exactly is leaving the island.
Okay, perfect. Before I come back to you, Xavier, eco-modulation. I know that the Dutch have worked on this now, so that you have, if you have better packaging and higher recyclability rates, you kind of give a bonus, or let's say a less punishment, whatever you want to call it, to the packers. Is this working? Is this enough to get to the next stage?
Yeah, we have doubled the deduction. So and we are seeing more and more producers making use of it. So I think it's working, but maybe it's also working because they have to pay less money. I think it's a first step, but I think we have to step up more and let the producer get the material back and use it in their products, and they're not do. I think I'm speaking for them. I'm sitting, but I think they are a bit too long with waiting till 2030. So we need more instruments, or maybe some quicker regulation to get results, because now a lot of recyclers are waiting for the moment they can get really in business, and now they are in a 4-year gap between the regulation and now, and so they're suffering very hard with the energy prices in Europe, and I think that's a good thing. So we are trying to help with the eco-modulation and to lecture our producers to use recycled content in their products. And we must do more the next time, but I think the regulation is a big step forward. But you know, for this kind of things, you need to have regulation. It's sad to say because I represent the producers. They don't like regulation, but I think it's a good thing to get progress. So.
Unfortunately, for the moment, we don't see any major change in the statistics we collect. We are at around 2%, 2% of the packaging, industrial packaging, put on the Belgian market with 30% recycled content post-consumer. So it's very, very limited. As Marshall said, I fully agree. Producers are waiting for the obligation, the legal obligation to start, because it has a cost. It has a cost because you compare the recycled material with a virgin material, so it has a higher value today. But it also has a cost for the company because most of the time they have to adapt their packaging line, especially in the industrial waste. If you take bricks producers, when they use recycled content, most of them will change the plastic they use and the way they will pack the pallet with the bricks of the tiles. And this is an investment they have to do, and they will anticipate the obligation, but they are very afraid to do it today. Maybe another important element is only 40% of the packaging, industrial packaging put on the market is packed in Belgium. Most of the other waste streams are packed outside Belgium and imported. So it's also a challenge to convince the exporters to invest in packaging with recycled content. And in this case, we are talking about Turkey. So every movement in the Turkish market can implement and improve the situation in Belgium, because the decision is not only at the packer filler, it's also at the side of the exporters, producers abroad.
I've not all the knowledge on this topic, but I think you have to look after all the possible instruments to get it done, because we need to push this development. And I don't know exactly, because I don't know all about CO2 carbon credits. Maybe some other people know more about it, but when it helps, maybe it will help. But now we had some discussions on the plastic tax also in the Netherlands. We were working on front on that topic, but with the pressure of the chemical industry and that kind of parties, they skipped it. So it is pretty, yeah. The recycling parties are very disappointed about this decision. So yeah, when we have to recycle our material, then for us it's also not a very good thing. But yeah, the things are being set up. Dus I'm an optimistic guy. I'm thinking we will succeed in this kind of things.
Şimdi İspanya ya da işte arkadaşım bahsettiği gibi Hollanda da bunu düşünüyor diyor. Burada tabii ki vergiye tabi bir konuda çok ciddi kontrol sisteminin olması lazım. Şu anda uygulanan sistem özellikle İspanya'da bu EN 15343 sertifikası ile, tabii burada en önemlisi tabii ki bir akreditasyon çerçevesinde düzenlenmiş bir sertifika. Bu çerçevede yapılmış bir denetim. Çünkü burada tabii ki kağıt üzerinde hazırlanmış sertifikalar da görüyoruz. Aslında sertifikanın da greenwashing'i olabilir. Burada en önemlisi doğrulanmış, kabul görmüş bir uluslararası standart altında hazırlanmış bir program çerçevesinde bütün gözetim zincirinin izlendiği, izlenebilirliğin sağlanması burada çok önemli. Atığın nereden geldiği, hangi türde atık olduğu, tesiste nasıl işlendiği, uygun tesislerde işlenip işlenilmediği, sertifikasyon sisteminin bütün bunların kanıtı olması gerekiyor. O anlamda bu tarz sertifikalarda greenwashing'in önüne geçmek için bir yöntem.
When we talk about transport packaging, we already have a high level of reuse in Belgium, and we monitor that. But we talk about wooden pallets, plastic barrels, IBCs. This is quite common. The next challenge when we talk about wrapping film of straps, actually at the moment we are looking at the European Commission expecting a change in the regulation because we don't see it possible. And even the 100% targets will be very, very difficult to reach and to control because since it is a regulation, it's for all over Europe, and they define some targets which are not national targets, which are European targets for national-based companies. It will be very, very difficult to monitor, to control. So we look forward to the delegated act, the implementing act, to have the explanation of the way we have to calculate the reuse targets at the moment. So we are very careful and do not anticipate any drastic movement and drastic decision. If we take a look at the statistics value pack, we have 100,000 tons put on the market, and we register almost 70% recycling. Not with 1% in the packaging. So you have 70% recycling, and you need 30% for recycled content. So you already reached the 100%. I think it will be difficult to offer enough plastics to reach this target, and we may have a war for material, which with a positive value on the material. So this is a positive aspect, but we need to be careful, and maybe it will be difficult to reach this specific target for the industrial packaging waste, at least.
Tom.
Yeah, look, I'll be brief, but I think we've a real concern in Ireland at the moment about, first of all, about the basics of the recycling targets, but also then the fact that if we're not collecting this material in the first place and separating it, like what chance have we to introduce that at anything like the target expectations on recycled content? You know, I just put maybe another stark message out there at the moment, but you know, there are a lot of SRF plants being built in Ireland at the moment, and these are clearly to deal with the outthrow from separation plants that operators don't deem recyclable or economically recyclable. You know, that's a manifestation of a change in the market. That this is a way of dealing with material that there is no viable recycling route for, and therefore then has a massive impact on targets, on recycled content, on that whole piece, and you know, contraction of the availability in Europe is driving all of that as well. People are just getting more conservative about how they operate their businesses, and they need to be able to deal with the volumes that are coming through the door from their customers. And if one of those routes is not a recycling route, then clearly it's an energy recovery route. So you know, it's binary in that sense. So yeah, massive challenges, I think.
Okay, thank you very much.